Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome back to my class. We are discussing chapter 7 yet. So, the chapter 7 is rate of return analysis for one project. And so far, we have discussed what are the meaning of rate of return, how to calculate rate of return by using present worth or annual worth for cash flow series. And in this lecture, we're going to cover two topics that are special considerations when using the rate of return method and how to determine multiple rate of return values. And then the last topic that will be discussed in the coming video is how to calculate external rate of return. Let's start with special considerations when using rate of return. So, special considerations for rate of return. First of all, we have to deal with or consider the possibility of existence of multiple rate of return values. Depending upon the sequence of net cash flows, there may be more than one real number root to the rate of return equation, resulting in more than one rate of return values. So we need to consider multiple ROR values. Then the second thing is reinvestment at rate of return, which is different than the other method that we have discussed so far, like present worth or annual worth. Like present worth and annual worth methods assume that any net positive investment is reinvested at the MARR. But rate of return method assumes reinvestment at the rate of return. Here, what does this net positive investment mean? Means if you are doing a business and in a particular year you have more income than your expenditure, so the remaining amount will be invested in a project that will give you some return. And in present worth or annual worth method, we consider that this reinvestment must earn return equal to minimum attractive rate of return. But in case of rate of return method, we assume that this additional amount of investment or reinvestment must give us return equal to the rate of return. So this is difference, or this is what we mean by reinvestment at rate of return. Means any additional income left after paying all the expenses should be invested at least rate of return or expected to earn a return equal to the rate of return. When rate of return is not close to the minimum attractive rate of return, for example, there is a substantial difference between both rate of return and MARR, then in such cases, this is an unrealistic assumption. In such cases, the rate of return value is not a good basis for decision making. Then different procedures for multiple alternative evaluations. This is the final consideration. To correctly use the rate of return method, to choose from two or more mutually exclusive alternatives requires an incremental analysis procedure, which we'll study in the next chapter, which is different than what we were using earlier. For example, so far we're comparing present worth of all alternatives and selecting the one which has the highest numerical value. But in case of rate of return analysis, the method is different, and this is based on incremental analysis that we'll learn in the next chapter. Then multiple ROR values. So before discussing multiple ROR values, we need to understand few basic concepts. When signs of the net cash flows change only once in a cash flow series, it is called a conventional or simple cash flow series. On the other hand side, when signs of the net cash flows change more than once, such series is called non-conventional or non-simple cash flow series. So Net cash flows mean the difference between inflows and outflows are known as net cash flows. If the sign on net cash flows has changed once in a cash flow series, this series is known as simple or conventional cash flow series. On the other hand side, if sign changes are more than one on net cash flows, this is known as non-conventional or non-simple cash flow series. Here are a few examples. So here we have net cash flows from year 0 to 6, and here we have number of sign changes. So in first case, sign and net cash flows is negative at time 0, means we have outflows at time 0, and then throughout the life of the project we have positive net cash flows. So the sign is changing only one time. So this cash flow series is known as conventional cash flow series. Then in second case, we have negative cash flows from 0 to time 2, and then sign is being changed from negative to positive from third to sixth time period. So again, the one sign change in this net cash flow series. So this is also a simple cash flow series or conventional cash flow series. Then in third case, we have positive cash flows from year 0 to 4 and negative from 5 to 6. One sign change. So this is again a simple cash flow series. Then in fourth case, negative cash flows at time 0, positive from 1 to time 3, and again negative from 4 to 6. So sign is being changed twice. So this is a non-conventional or non-simple cash flow series. Then in fifth case, we have positive cash flows at time 0 and time 1, then negative from 2 to 4 and positive from 5 to 6. So sign are being changed two times from 0 to 6 here. So this is again a non-simple cash flow series. And finally, in sixth case, we have negative cash flows at time 0, positive at time 1, negative at time 2 and 3, and positive from 4 to 6. So sign is being changed three times. So this is again a non-conventional, a non-simple cash flow series. And I expect that the difference between simple and non-simple or conventional or non-conventional cash flow series is clear to you now. If sign is being changed only one time, this is simple cash flow series. If sign changes more than once, the cash flow series known as non-conventional. Now, cash flow series and multiple ROR value. What is the relationship between both? When there is more than one sign change, mean in case of non-conventional cash flows. In the net cash flows, it is possible that there will be multiple ROR values. So when we have non-conventional cash flow series, it is expected that we have more than one rate of return value. How to find multiple ROR values in cash flows? We have two basic rules or two basic methods to find multiple ROR values in cash flows. First rule is Deckert's rule of signs. Total number of real rate of return routes is less than or equal to the number of sign changes in net cash flow series. Then second one is Nostrom's criterion. It says that if the cumulative net cash flow starts off negatively and has only one sign change, there is only one positive root. Could have two root values at which present worth is equal to 0, but positive will only be one, other will be negative. With the results of these two tests, the rate of return relation is solved for either the unique rate of return value or the multiple rate of return value by using trial and error, or by using a programmable calculator or by spreadsheet using rate of return function that incorporates the guess option. So we have only two methods to recognize existence of multiple ROR value. One is Deckert's rule of signs, other is Nostrom's criteria. Deckert rule of signs states that total number of real ROR routes is less than or equal to the number of sign changes in net cash flow series. Nostrom criteria says that if cumulative net cash flow starts off negatively and sign changes only once, there is only one positive ROR value. There can be two values, but positive will be only one. Now, These are few conditions that we need to remember and important. If the cumulative net cash flow starts positively instead of negatively, then the test number 2, Nostrum criterion, is not applicable. It means the cumulative net cash flows should start negatively to be applicable. Similarly, if the cumulative net cash flow starts negatively but more than one sign change, then test number 2 means Nostrum criterion is not applicable. So we can use only Decker's rule of sign in such cases. Here is an example of multiple ROR values. We need to determine the maximum number of ROR values for the cash flows shown below. Here we have time periods from time 0 to time 10 and net cash flows are given. Net cash flows mean inflows minus outflows or income minus expenditures. So net cash flows is first at time 0 we have for cash outflow which is $400,000, and from year 1 to 9 we have annual series of payments like $75,000 every time period. And at 10th time period we have a negative cash flow which is 225,000. So if we see how many sign changes are negative to positive and then again positive to negative, so we have two sign changes. Now we can calculate cumulative net cash flow as well. So test number 1 is says the sign on the net cash flow changes twice, indicating two possible ROR values. This is Decker's rule of sign. We just need to calculate number of sign changes. Then cumulative net cash flows. We can calculate, so cumulative net cash flow series is difference between the years. So at time 0 we have minus 400,000, it will come as it is, and this is again net cumulative cash flow will be the difference between time 0 and 1. Minus 400,000 minus 75,000 minus 325,000 and then 325 minus 75 minus 250 at the end of third year, and minus 250 minus the 75 minus 175 at the end of third year. Then 175 minus 75, so 100,000 at the end of fourth year. So 100,000 minus 75 minus 25,000 at the end of fifth year. Then minus 25 plus 75, so 50,000 at the end of sixth year. Then we'll add up 75 until ninth year. So at the end of ninth year, cumulative net cash flow will be 275, and at the end of 10-year net cash flow are minus 225. So 275 minus 225, so the cumulative net cash flow will be 50,000. Now we need to consider the Nostrum criterion, which says that net cumulative cash flow should start off negatively and sign change should be only 1. So this criteria is applicable. Cumulative net cash flows starts off negatively and sign is being changed only one time. So it means we have only one positive ROR value. More than one are possible, but there will be only one positive and the other will be negative. So if we solve the equation, the positive ROR value will be 4.53% and the negative will be 18.7%. Now we can only select the positive value on the basis of guidelines that we are going to discuss in this slide. If both ROR values are less than 0, we'll discard both values. If both values are greater than 0, we'll again discard both values. If one is less than 0, one is greater than 0, we'll keep the one that is greater than 0 as rate of return. In case 1 and 2, you need to solve the problem of multiple ROR values. And in case 3, you need to calculate the positive value that you can confirm from test 2, that is Nostrum criterion. So here is summary of multiple ROR values by using both rules. Here we have two alternatives like net cash flow and cumulative net cash flow. Net cash flows are being used in Decker's rule and cumulative net cash flows are being used in Nostrum criterion. So in case of net cash flow, single internal rate of return value, if we have one internal rate of return value, we'll find IROR value. We have multiple ROR value, both are positive, both are negative. We'll ignore them and calculate external rate of return. And if we have one positive and one negative value, we'll use positive value as internal rate of return and ignore negative value. In case of Nostrum criteria, if cumulative net cash flow starts off positively, we cannot apply. If starts off negatively and have one sign change, we can apply. And in that case, we'll confirm one positive unique value that exists and find that. Then we'll use positive value as internal rate of return and ignore the negative value. This is the summary of both methods. Then how to solve multiple ROR problems. Multiple ROR problems can be solved by using additional information that is not given in cash flows, because ROR is being calculated from cash inflows and cash outflows that is internal to the project. Additional information referring to the information not given in the cash flows. In case of rate of return, we use only those information that is given in cash flows. Additional information comes from outside the cash flows from which ROR was calculated. Therefore, the ROR is then called external rate of return. Once we use external information to calculate the ROR value, the new rate that we'll calculate is known as external rate of return, because this is being calculated on the information that is coming from outside the project. Therefore, the ERR refers to the ROR that had two values and are converted to single value using some additional external information. And what is this additional information? This can be two types of interest rates. Investment rate, which is represented by II, the rate at which positive net cash flows, if in some year of project's revenue exceeds costs, are invested in external sources, is known as investment rate. On the other hand side, borrowing rate, the rate at which funds are borrowed from an external source. In case where net cash flows are negative, mean if in a particular year our expenses are more than our revenues. So we need to borrow some amount from a friend or financial institution to fund our operations. So this rate will be known as borrowing rate. Solving multiple ROR value problems, we'll discuss how to solve multiple ROR values by using external rate of return in next lecture. So for this lecture, that's all. Go through the videos and come up with questions if you have any. And stay safe. We'll see you with the next video. Allah Hafiz.